All right, so we have the boot lid on the table. That's where we're gonna start. And I think, first of all, of course, I think it's about time to get rid of the luggage rack. It's not in the best shape. I think it can be reused. I mean, I don't know if you can see all these waves, but it's not bad. It's the chrome is not peeled anywhere, and it's not pitted or anything. So I think we can just polish it and use it again. So we're gonna inspect very carefully. So it doesn't look in a bad shape, the whole boot lid, but you never know. We're gonna have to inspect this lip very closely. Just recently somebody sent me a picture of a boot lid like that. So it was ripped completely open here, and he said that when he bought the car it looked okay, but when they started stripping it for paint, turned out there was a lot of bodywork here, and they removed all the body filler, and turned out there was a piece of wood inside. So somebody carved a lip for the trunk lid for the boot lid for him, and covered it with body filler. Anyway, so doesn't look in a very bad shape, but still we're gonna inspect it. Hopefully we don't need to do welding on it. Here this lip doesn't look bad inside, and that's the weak spot for these lids, you know. Everything else looks good except two things. Number one and number two. So that's how the rack is mounted, with those screws. Anyways, I think that's how we're gonna mount it too. I mean, the holes are already there. There's no through hole here because it's only through the top layer. So we either have to find stainless screws with nuts, like the machine screws, with nuts underneath, and run at the same place and screw them, or we're just gonna go the same way. I don't know. So let me remove it. We're gonna try to save the gaskets because we're not gonna be able to find them after. So hopefully these are in a good shape and we can reuse them. And yeah, let me remove it, and then we're gonna start sanding it and seeing what we're gonna do with it. Turns out these are actually not gaskets. This is the base, the plastic base, which is on a bow here. There's a bow joint, so you can adjust the angle, and they don't look bad. So they just go underneath, and then this cap goes over and holds it in place. How does it hold it in place? Oh yeah, so this pushes on the bow on top and holds it in place. So pretty clever. This means you can adjust the angle for different boot lids and stuff like that. Anyway, just wanted to show you that. Well, good news. It's nice and clean inside, no rust. And in here there was a little bit of a surface rust, but we cleaned it and it's good to go. So I'm gonna sand it inside now, and then we're gonna flip it, we're gonna sand it outside and move to the next one. All right, quick update. So I started stripping the paint with the DA sander. I actually wanted just to scuff the paint, but it turns out that in some areas the paint was spilling off very easy. So as you can see here, at some point of its life, this boot lid used to be baby blue, which means that's not the original lid from this car, but that doesn't really matter. So when they repainted the car, here where the flat areas are, the dark blue paint stuck really well to the baby blue, because here it doesn't want to come off. I mean, I'm scuffing it with the DA sander and it doesn't come off. But here, where you can see, it fell off like very easy, which means basically that they didn't prep it properly when they painted it. They only scuffed the areas that were easy to scuff, and then the rest they just sprayed on top of the baby blue without prepping it in any way. So anyways, we're gonna prep it properly, I hope. I know there's gonna be a lot of bad comments here, I guess, for what I'm doing, but anyways, we're gonna try to prep it better than them, and then yeah, we're gonna keep going. So you can see one of these triangles is done, and I have 3 more to go. So that was a quick update again, and we're gonna keep going. Progress. Okay, the whole inside is done. It wasn't easy because in many of the areas I had to use these guys with these guys, but yeah, I think we managed to scuff it nicely all over the place, and it's ready for paint inside. And now we're gonna flip it and we're gonna do the outside. Hopefully it's gonna be easy and we can use this guy. All right, this is done too. No major issues here. Looks like pretty straightforward job. Looks like it is nice and smooth. So off to the bonnet now. All right, so here's our bonnet upside down, and this is the most important part. I'm sure I've seen it before, but I didn't remember. So because I would check that one of the very first things to check is here, this lip, and it is in a good shape, and I'm sure I've checked it before, but I don't remember. So anyways, double checked, everything is perfect here. There's some surface rust here. I hope it's only surface, but never seen one rust here in this area, so we are in a good shape. There's some surface rust here, but yeah. So first of all, I'm gonna wire wheel it. I'm gonna wire wheel where we can reach, and then we're gonna go from there. Oh, we still have this here. We still have the latch. So okay. So somebody painted it with a brush, I think. I don't know. Anyways, let me grab the wire wheel and we're gonna go from there. Somebody commented about the wire wheels, that they are not designed for such a high speed, but I believe these specific wire wheels, they are designed for angle grinders. So I don't know why wouldn't they be designed for this high speed. Of course they fall apart, but they would fall apart even on a lower speed. So anyways, that's what we're gonna use for a while. It's taking forever, but we're making progress. Really hard to go around all these nooks and crannies. So that's how far I went so far. It's been like probably 2 hours already. Anyway, here turns out that this part, remember when I made a comment that it is probably somebody painted it with a brush. Well, I don't think it was painted with a brush, but there was turns out there's undercoating underneath, only for this part. I don't understand why. If anything, you would undercoat that part, because that's prone to rust. But anyway, so this part here was undercoated and then sprayed with blue. So now you can see the wire wheel is just messing up with the undercoat. I have to wipe it manually with paint thinner and rag. So that's what we're gonna do next before we continue. My God, that was hard. But anyway, the whole inside here is clean now. Everything is wire wheeled as far as I could go, and like here in the corners, of course I couldn't go, so I'm gonna figure out some other way. But I started also now with the DA sander. I started this whole entire area now is sanded more or less. In some area I go with just by hand, and all the way to here. So I still have to go with the DA sander over there, which I don't know, it's gonna be a disaster. And these here flat pieces are supposedly gonna be easy, hopefully. And then the little corners again with the sandpaper and by hand. Here looks like there is a area that's pitted right here and along here. It's not a big deal, but I think I'm gonna do some body filler here, just a little bit, so we can make it nice and smooth for the paint. We don't want it to show through the paint. And yeah, no major issues, just a lot of labor. It's all sanded now, nice and smooth, and the only problematic area is here. It's not problematic, I mean it is a little bit pitted, and there's a little bit of surface rust in the pit, so I'm gonna do a little bit of rust converter here in this area. Then I'm gonna do a little bit of a body filler, and we're gonna be ready for paint. Okay, I put rust converter, and while I'm waiting for it to make some progress with the rust, I flipped the bonnet and I sanded the top part of it, and there are no issues here. Everything looks just fine. When we're talking about rust converter, this is what I'm using. People have been asking me over and over again. So this is the rust converter that I'm using, and it is pretty good. I'm happy with it. So it's been over an hour after I put rust converter, so let's flip it and see what's the situation. There you go. That's what it does. It turns the rust into something white, and here I'm assuming where there's no white part, I've already gotten rid of the rust, the surface rust. So anyways, now we're gonna wipe it with paint thinner, and then we're gonna start, we're gonna do some body work. Done. I think with the bonnet we are done. I've done a little bit of body work. It's nice and smooth now. So that's where we're gonna leave it. So we're gonna take it off the table, and now the last parts are the two doors. And the windshield frame, I keep forgetting about the windshield frame. Anyways, the two doors, we're gonna have to pull out and see what we can do about them. All right, and here are the doors, or the door. So you remember both doors we changed the bottom parts. Actually, not sure if both doors we changed bottom parts. No, maybe this one we changed the bottom part, and on the other one I think not. I don't remember what we've done. But anyways, the thing is, here inside the doors are in a pretty good shape, so I'm not gonna bother painting them inside. I'm only gonna paint here where I welded. The whole thing here was painted, but of course the paint burned here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint here inside. I think I'm gonna use a brush for here, or even a sponge, or I don't know what. And later we're gonna seam seal it, and that's gonna be the work on the inside of the door. This means I don't need to disassemble the whole mechanism here. We're gonna just take this out, the latch, so we can clean it properly here, and here we want to paint it nicely, of course, the sides of the door. We're gonna take the hinges off. We're gonna see how we're gonna deal with the hinges, whether we're gonna paint the door without the hinges and then paint the hinges separately, or we're gonna do with hinges. I don't know. Well, I guess we're gonna paint the hinges separately. And yeah, so we're gonna remove the hinges, we're gonna remove the latch, we're gonna clean the whole part here. I'm gonna do some body work here where we welded, so it is nice and smooth. And that's gonna be it for the inside of the door. And then on the outside, of course, you know, it needs some work. So we're gonna do that later. Let me strip it a little bit now. Okay, so stripped a little bit the guts, and and I stripped the paint a little bit here, not much, just enough. And now we're gonna do a little bit of a body filler here, entire bottom where we had a weld here, and this side I don't think it needs much. We will see where else, but again, here it is nice and smooth. So this inner side of the door doesn't need much more than that, just the body work, and that's it. and then we're gonna flip it and do the outside. Well, before we flip it, actually, we're gonna paint this and seam seal. Okay, that's what I mean. So we have body filler everywhere where we think we need. Even here, this was a little bit pitted, and that's why I put some body filler. I used my finger here and over there too. So we're gonna let this harden, and in the meantime we're gonna flip and start sanding the other side. We will see how much body filler this is gonna need. All right, the exterior of the door is sanded too. We're not gonna do body work here yet. I'm not sure if we're gonna do it before we install it on the car or after. I'd rather do it on the car so I can do the lines here and everything matches the fenders when it's mounted on the car. So we'll see if we're gonna do that or the body shop is gonna do that. I have no idea. For now, I'm gonna flip it back and start sanding my body filler on the inside. Okay, all sanded. Looks good, according to me. All this is sanded and it is ready for paint, I guess. Well, I have to clean this hole that I didn't notice here. And actually this hole, yeah, I'm forgetting something, you see? Anyway, here, this is all nice and smooth. You can't tell it's been welded. And here too, and over here. I also sprayed inside some primer, and a little bit later I'm gonna spray some color, I guess. Any color is good there. I don't really care. Or maybe, well, actually when I spray here, I might spray trim cloud over there. We'll see about that. And yeah, so I'm gonna clean this now, and we're gonna be done with this door, and we're gonna pull out the other one from over there. Okay, the other door is in pretty much the same shape. Looks like, yeah, now I remember, we didn't replace the whole bottom here. We only replaced one corner. So you can see it here inside too. It ends somewhere here. Well, and yeah, so pretty much the same thing. We're gonna have to remove some of the guts. We're gonna have to strip a little bit of the paint, do some body work, and we're gonna be ready with this door as well. There you go. This one didn't need too much. So a little bit here again because it was a little pitted here where we had the welding. Again, I forgot this. I cleaned it on the other door. And that's it, basically. There was just a little pitted area here. Oh, and here it was all pitted. It looked like this, all over the place here. So I put a little bit of body filler. I didn't bother here. This is gonna be covered by the door panel, so only here. And that's it for this side. And let me flip it to the other side so you can see there. And this is the other side. Doesn't look too bad except here. So this is where I replaced the patch, and as much as I was careful, it looks like it warped a little bit because this area here now is high, like right here, and gradually goes down in this direction and in this direction. And even though this is high, this right next to it is very low, and this is high again. So what I'm gonna do, I think tomorrow I'm gonna bring my shrinking disc, which I keep forgetting to bring, and we will see if we can shrink that, even though it's a wide area. We will see, but this definitely needs to shrink and go down because it's way too high. I can feel it. Even coming from this way where this is the original skin, I can feel right here it starts going up. I don't know if you can see it like that. But anyway, so that's the situation, guys. And I think I'm gonna stop this video here, and we're gonna continue in the next one. Don't laugh, I know my face is dirty. So in the next video we're gonna do, I think what we're gonna do is temporarily we're gonna have to put again the body on the frame, install all the panels, and do some like really minor body work around where the doors meet the fenders and stuff like that. So if we need to build a little bit of fender or a little bit the door up, so we can make them match perfectly. And that's gonna be it. Just probably here in the center I'm gonna leave the bodywork for the body shop because they are better in that, or we'll see. But anyway, so that's the idea. We're gonna put it temporarily on the frame, we're gonna do some body work, then we're gonna take it apart again completely. We're gonna paint the inside of the fenders, and then we're gonna send it to the body shop to paint the whole exterior, interior, whatever they're gonna do. I don't know. My idea was to paint the car assembled, but now as we're gonna be painting it disassembled in pieces, that's a little bit in my mind. I'm not really clear what and how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna come on its own, I guess, when we get there. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.